morning, class, and welcome to the Williamsburg, Jamestown, and Yorktown Historical Triangle. Colonial Williamsburg is a 301-acre living history museum with costume townspeople dramatizing presentations of city life. The reenactments of both the political process and the war against the royal government transformed these royal subjects to citizens of a new republic. Nearby is the Jamestown settlement with the recreated James Fort and the riverfront dock with replicas of the Susan, Constant, Godspeed, and Discovery, the three ships that transported the original Jamestown colonists. In Yorktown, recreations of the 18th century farm and Continental Army camp with costumed interpreters who demonstrate what life was like during and after the Revolution. Do you know the ghost stories of Williamsburg? This is just additional background information that you may choose to use for this assignment. What laws were enacted during this period? For this assignment, I want you to watch the podcast I have prepared and then choose one aspect that you will expand on in your own podcast. Notice the building and architecture of the time. What was the norm, and why were certain homes built the way they were? What does the architecture say about the people living in Williamsburg? What other livestock was there in the 18th century aside from horses? You will notice I have included various subtle questions for you to consider. I have also used several different digital effects. You may use various effects as long as it is in keeping with your topic. Architecture is one topic to consider. What was the norm, and why were certain homes built the way they were? This is one example of a unique style home. Bonus points if you can answer this question. The majority of homes were painted in a whitewash. Very few had some color. Can you explain this? You tend to see a lot of these small round buildings in Williamsburg. This is an example of a brick home probably occupied by an affluent resident. What type of weaponry was used in the 18th century? How important was it for the colonists to fight the English ruling party? Don't forget that in photo story, you can also crop pictures so that your main theme is highlighted. You could choose what role women played in Colonial Williamsburg. What did the colonists grow and eat? Was the clothing purposeful or more of a religious nature? Since there were no Xboxes, what toys did children play with in colonial times? In an artistic note, how was paint made and how were the colors developed? Truly, only the wealthy had carriages and horses at their disposal. How were African Americans treated in colonial times? The answer may surprise you. What is a coat of arms? And why were they so prevalent in Colonial Williamsburg? It was very common for houses to have several different add-ons. Note the two different chimneys. What do you think they were used for? What did a tricorn hat represent? As with most of the colonies, Williamsburg, Yorktown, and Jamestown were all near the river or water sources. This is an example of just one type of hitching post. This white sparkling pathway is seen throughout the town of Williamsburg. One of the nice gentlemen I met there explained to me what the roads were actually made from. Sugar was not available at the time, so honey or beekeeping was a lively occupation. Houses were marked, as this one is, with plaques depicting the family name or heritage. How did the colonists prepare their food and where? The governor's palace is the center point in Williamsburg, and in front of it is a large grassy knoll where people picnic, children play, and was probably used for the same purpose all those many years ago. Note the fancy gateway and statues atop the entranceway to the governor's mansion. The disparity of wealth was quite prevalent. Was it primarily political, or were there other reasons? The topics you may choose from are varied and open to your creative choice. I have only given you a few examples. You may want to do some research prior to making your selection. Of course, I will be approving your topics prior to you starting your podcasts, and sorry about that, Busch Gardens is not a choice. Good day, and y'all come back now. Here